Very much. Well, this is a motion about a move by the Israeli government to close the bank resources of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. I was contacted by them to let me know that their bank accounts had been arbitrarily closed down by the Bank of Ireland. I got the message on the 4th of October, and I said the Palestine Solidarity Campaign had its accounts closed last week by Bank of Ireland without any proper explanation. And it looks as if this is a move as a result of pressure from the Israeli government to interfere in the domestic affairs of an independent, friendly country. Now, I wrote myself then to Mr. Boucher, the head of the Bank of Ireland, and I said I've been contacted by the Irish Palestine Society. Their bank accounts of the Bank of Ireland were closed. According to IPSC, no explanation was given, and a request for an extension until December 2016 to allow an order to transfer to another banking institution was denied. As far as I know, none of these bank accounts were ever used illegally in any way. This is a peaceful, democratic movement, and the attempt to interfere with it and to hamper its operations is a clear attack on free speech. The reply I got from Mr. Richie Boucher just said Bank of Ireland is a diversified financial services group which adheres to all applicable legislative and regulatory requirements in all countries it operates. This includes and gives a long list of all the requirements. As a matter of course, this group is obliged to monitor and keeps under active review all national and international regulatory and legislative requirements. That's just reciting, parroting out a lot of rubbish about statutory requirements and all that. Nowhere in his letter does Mr. Richie Boucher allege that the Palestine Solidarity Campaign has breached one single one of these regulations, nor does he say that they've been involved in any suspicious activity.
I remind you not to be naming individuals that are not in the House. You know, it's a
oh, right, okay. Well, I hope I get that out of injury time. So that's the reply that I got. I mean, he is the head of the Bank of Ireland. He's a public official, and I see no problem about naming him whatever. He signed the letter, after all. And may I point out that his bank was rescued by the people of Ireland. And now he goes and he acts in this appallingly undemocratic way. And can I point out that this is a worldwide phenomenon? A German bank has recently closed the accounts of a German Jewish organisation called Jewish Voice for a Just Peace in the Middle East, at the instigation of the Israeli government. Here's another case of the infringement of people's freedom of speech and solidarity with the people of Palestine. In July 2016, the Palestine Solidarity Campaign got a series of inquiries from the Bank of Ireland. And may I point out, these accounts have been in place without the slightest suggestion of any difficulty for 15 years. But suddenly, under the impulse of moves from the Israelis, this kind of difficulty arises. Question number one was, what are the funds in the account used for? The Palestine Solidarity Campaign answered honestly and openly. The funds are used for campaigning for the human rights of all Palestinians. And so we rent an office, employ a coordinator, hold public meetings, host visiting speakers, print leaflets, etc. Question number two, what is the source of funds in your account? Primarily, our organisation is funded by member subscriptions and donations. However, we also organise fundraising events. For example, last year, a member organised an amateur boxing night in Croke Park, which raised $6,500. A sponsored walk raised $1,169, and our Christmas lunch raised $1,350. We also have a small margin from the sale of solidarity items, football shirts, Palestinian scarves, etc. Question three, do you transfer funds to Palestine, and if so, to whom in Palestine? The only transfer is to the Hirbawi textile factory in Palestine in payment for Palestinian scarves. In March this year, we transmitted $1,209 in payment for delivery of Palestinian scarves. 4. Do you transfer any money to political organisations, and if so, to whom and where are they based? We are not affiliated to any political organisation, and we do not transfer money to any political organisations. 4 clear questions. 4 clear answers. Nothing for the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign to answer to. They have done nothing. They are a campaigning organisation. They do, of course, campaign on the basis of the boycott, divestment and sanction motion, which suggests that items that come from the settlers and the invaded areas of Palestine should be boycotted. There should be divestment of investment in these areas, and there should be sanctions. This is a perfectly legitimate campaigning issue. Nobody can quarrel with that. This is precisely the kind of thing we did in South Africa. I mean, have people forgotten apartheid? Have people forgotten the way in which the Dunnes Stores workers stood out in solidarity with the people of South Africa? Of course it is correct for people to be able to campaign.
No, please.
Oh, right, okay. But can I just say, in conclusion, that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Deputy Charles Flanagan, TD, said, "I am deeply concerned about wider attempts to pressure NGOs and human rights defenders through legislation and other means to hinder their important work. We have raised this both at EU level and directly with the Israeli authorities." He also said that boycott, divestment and sanction policy was a legitimate campaigning objective. So that what we have here is a clear attack on a civil society organisation in an attempt to muzzle it and stop it doing the work that it is democratically entitled to do in this Republic of Ireland.
Thank you, Senator. I call Senator Pádraig McLaughlin, please. You have 5 minutes, Senator.
I'd like to commend Senator Norris in taking the initiative